Good evening and welcome to the 2022 World Cup preview show presented to you by Team MBS Media. Of course, I am owner and operator of Team MBS Media, Joe Cardoso, and I'm joined tonight by two, I'll call these guys football/soccer savants. I am joined by my guys, Ty and Edwin. We are here to talk about all things World Cup. First, before we even dive into the games and the groups and things like that, guys, how excited are we just to be back to talk about World Cup soccer and have this getting ready to kick off on Sunday?
Man, I'm thrilled. It feels like it's been a lifetime since the last World Cup, and the last three itself have been so fantastic. So the fact that we have another opportunity and just to cover this, it's great to be back, and I'm looking forward to the fun.
Joe, this has been the most exciting I've ever been for a World Cup ever in my entire life. For good reason, though. But we'll get into that as we break down the groups and everything. But I must say, I am feeling pumped right now. Let's get into it, man.
And let's get started. How you guys want to kick this thing off? What group you want to go with first?
Hey, man, I think we should start with Group B. I mean, that's where the home team is, the U.S. Is it this year that we're going to make some noise after missing the last two major tournaments, or are we going to have to wait until 2026 when the youth kind of evolves a little bit more and gets a little bit deeper into their playing careers? But it's a wide open group. You can see nobody's really played well down the line. I mean, obviously England coming off of their great Euro run in 2021, but recent form, it hasn't been good, not just for the team, but for players as well. And Southgate has definitely made some weird choices, I'd say, leaving a couple big names out. But again, those are the guys he went with in the Euro, so we'll see what happens. And for Wales, kind of all comes down to Gareth Bale. Obviously, he made his move to Los Angeles FC this past summer, and he won a MLS Cup with them. So shout out to him. But it's his first World Cup, believe it or not, and he's starting to get up there in age, and he's a little bit out of his prime, but does he have what it takes to get Wales out of the group? I don't know. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
I like the USA chances, to be honest. I think that they have so much expectation upon them for such young talent. Gio Reyna, obviously Christian Pulisic, and my guy, let me see right here. Yes, Weston McKennie as well, too. So the issue I have with USA is there enough consistency up front for goal threat? We already know about Captain America, Christian Pulisic. So let's see if he can provide some goal threat for them. But I want to know if this team can live up to the expectations that are placed upon them at such a young age. As Ty just mentioned before, so much time in essence for them to be able to make their move at this time in the World Cup because England is not the strongest. He mentioned before about Southgate. Southgate to me has been a little bit conservative at times. So for England, it's about being much braver and using your attacking talent. I don't want to see any defensive game plans. They have way too much attacking talent on that team. Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka to really cause some problems there. Phil Foden. So let's see what happens there. But for Wales, though, first World Cup, Gareth Bale. All right. To me, their biggest accomplishment should be to get that first game against USA. At that point in time, if you have that win, then you have a much better chance of qualifying for the group stage and qualifying to get to the round of 16. If not, then it might go a little bit downhill for that. But Iran is the wild card for me here, right? Defensive matchup for them should be for every game, right? Play on the counterattack and use your strikers up front. We have here Mehdi Taremi as a striker up top. So if you be clinical and play on the counterattack, there should be some opportunities up front to really change the game and change the whole entire group narrative in your favor. So we'll see what happens, though. But USA, definitely the wild card in this team for me.
Yeah, I'd say with the Team USA, I kind of get the vibes I got from that Japan/Korea World Cup we had. A lot of young players, not a lot of expectations. Think about DeMarcus Beasley, Landon Donovan back then, and they put up a really, really good fight. Still, I say they got robbed in that game against Germany. I think this team gives off a lot of those vibes because they're so young and they're so inexperienced. But if somebody asked me, what do I feel like the weakness is for Team USA, I would have to ask who is like the legit number 9 striker for Team USA. And then also I'd say center back too is a place where you can see us possibly get exposed. But I have expectations to at least get out the group. I think anything less than that's a failure for the USA. I mean, we're at that point now. And if we don't obviously advance after the group stage, if we lose in the first round of the knockout stage, I think that gives you something to build up for 2026, because then you're playing on home soil. And that along with the experiences you'll get along the way should be enough to fuel a serious run.
Agreed, Joe. Something you brought up that I think is very important is the selection at center back. Obviously, Berhalter left out John Brooks and he decided to take Tim Ream instead. As we all know, Tim Ream's getting up there in age, and even though he captains Fulham, does he really have the legs to compete in a competition like this? And just going back to the talent, leaving Zach Steffen at home. Yes, he's out on loan right now, but he has Champions League experience for Manchester City. You know, he was the number 2 goalkeeper there for a reason. And not to take anything away from Matt Turner, because I love him as an Arsenal fan, but if I have to choose between the two, I might go with Zach Steffen, and that's the God's honest truth. But at the same time, we were just talking about the number 9. A big name we left out was Pepe. You know, he made that big move to Augsburg, and even though his name is on the transfer market now, leaving a youth talent, you know, out of this squad is kind of eye-raising.
Joe, I have to ask you about Brennan Arison. Obviously, the young talent from USA, also plays for Leeds right now. United has been playing really well so far in the Premier League. What are your thoughts about him making an impact for this midfield? Because obviously we talk about the striking talent up front, which is not too consistent in my opinion. But if we can find ways to get some goal scoring threat in the midfield, then there is a chance though.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that just he doesn't know what he doesn't know. I mean, like from what I've seen from him so far through qualifying and things like that, the moment's not too big for him. So that's somebody who I think can give a spark for Team USA, create some goal chances. I mean, he's just going out there and playing ball, whether it's World Cup, whether it's playing for Leeds, whether it's playing in a whatever kind of match it is. All this kid knows is he has a love for and a passion for the game of soccer. So I think out of everybody in that roster, he's one of those guys that when they say it's time to go and the ball's kicked off, he's going to play.
Okay. All right. I agree with that narrative right there. Let's see what happens. It is still a very young team, so we'll have to see exactly how they perform. I think that aside from USA and Iran being the biggest wild cards, can England also, they have some big expectations as well too. They've had a history of failing in the World Cup. I mean, last time around they had a nice run in the tournament, so we'll see what happens there. But I want to see if they can be much more braver this time around, right? Gareth Southgate has, to me, been holding this team back from playing much more creative, playing much more freedom as they should be playing with, right? So Harry Kane, I think that he'll be one of the main goal scorers in this whole tournament, but will they be too defensive for him to get those goals? Will they be too defensive to let Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, guys like those create from midfield and up top to help them score enough goals to make an imprint on the whole entire tournament?
I think my question for England would be, are you guys going to play defense ever? Like the defense has always been an issue. I mean, you can have all the attacking players you want to, but at a certain point, you got to shut people down and shut people out. And that's, at least from what I've seen from the England side, that's been an issue ongoing for a long time, even predating Southgate.
Well, unfortunately for England, you know, his selection doesn't help it, leaving Tomori out and obviously the injury of Reece James. But
yeah,
again, I agree with Edwin. I feel like they're held back in the sense of playing attacking football. They have so much talent going forward, young talent, experienced talent. And it feels like England always leaves you wanting more, you know, wanting more out of their game, their creativity, their play style. You want them to play fast and physical, but you get the conservative defensive mindset, and nobody wants that. I think the key for England going forward is going to be the midfield rather than the attack, though. Obviously, you have Jude Bellingham and Calvin Phillips, but, you know, again, these are two guys that are playing in their first World Cup. Calvin Phillips has only played 1 or 2 Premier League games this entire season and still made it to the roster. So it kind of gives you that eye raise, like, hey, you know, you're leaving a bunch of other guys out going, you know, in the midfield going forward, and you decided to go with a younger player and a guy that you used in the Euros quite frequently, but was that really the right decision? I think in all, it's going to come down to, like you said, Jack Grealish and Phil Foden, whoever is able to play in that number 10 role, that creative midfield role. That's going to be the key for unlocking the front three for England.
I have one more question, just the last question. How many points do we think Iran can take in this group?
Ooh.
If you are a better man,
Where's Will? He's a betting man.
How many points would Iran take in this group? I'm calling 1 point, actually.
Well, 1 point is harsh.
Is it?
Soccer, it's football. Anybody can win on any given day. I think 1 point is harsh. I'd say they should go in like any other team, aiming for a win every game. Now, me personally, I think they walk away with 3 points, maybe 3 ties, maybe a win, but I don't have too high. It's a tough group to be in for Iran for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say, yeah. I don't know if one's harsh. I think that might be right on, for real. That might be spot on. I mean, their biggest chance for a W, I think, is probably going to be that game against Wales.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that too. You know, so we'll see what happens. in regards to
what group you want to toss to next?
So we just spoke about attacking talent. Let's go to Group G actually with Brazil and how much they have with the full throttle of attacking talent that they are possessing for the World Cup this time around. I mean, if we look at the team right now, I mean, it's just too much to even name. Too much to name. But I will say, biggest attacking side in the group, most balanced side in the group, and it should be the biggest favorites going forward. I'm not sure what you guys' thoughts on that.
Listen, I agree with everything you just said, but saying the favorites in the group is an understatement. They should be the favorites of the tournament right now, next to Argentina. Like you said, from head to toe, that team is so solid. There's barely any weaknesses. You can go through the front three. Obviously, you have Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison, all these other names. Anthony, even though he just be spinning, he's a threat. Casemiro, you have a rock to protect your defense. And then in the back, obviously, the only position that you're kind of like, well, is right back with Danilo and Dani Alves somehow making it into the team. But Militao, Thiago Silva, these guys have been great. And Alisson between the sticks has had a fantastic season. And you can't forget that your number 2 is Henderson. So by far, the favorites to win the group and up there with the favorites to win the tournament for sure.
Yeah, for sure. They got to be one of the favorites. I mean, it's a World Cup or bust. I think the only thing that they have to worry about when it comes to Brazil, don't let the pressure get to you. I mean, in my opinion, the last World Cup in Russia, it was we rely on Neymar. But now, as we just heard from Ty, the names he was spitting, it's not just Neymar. It's a whole host of stars.
Yeah.
They're having that roster from top to bottom. Just got to not let the expectations overwhelm you. If they get off to a slow start or if they have some kind of bump in the road, you got to shake that off and keep your eye on the prize. That's the only thing that can probably stop Brazil is that.
Yeah, I'm so glad Ty mentioned the group and mentioned the players in that specific squad because it's a lot of attacking talent. But to me, I think they should go off winning every game in this group. I'm not going to lie. To be honest, I think that they have a lot of manageable games. And as Ty mentioned before, they should be the favorites moving forward for the entire tournament. I'm not sure exactly the number 1 favorites, but they should be a contender or one of the contenders because it is the World Cup. So you never know what happened in this type of tournament right here. But we'll see what happens. I do like the pressure off of Neymar because we have so many guys who can take on players, dribble the ball. Richarlison has been looking good so far in his form with the team. Gabriel Jesus, I mean, my fellow gunner right here, all right? He's been doing this thing. So I'm not sure if he's going to find any goal threat this time around in the World Cup. But to create, take on players, to be a team player for this team, if he does get some game time, I'm not sure because there's so many guys that could possibly contend for the starting 11. But if he does play, listen, I'm rooting for you, my guy.
Listen, if Brazil wants to win, Gabriel Jesus will be their number 9.
Ooh.
Regardless if he's scoring goals or not.
Heard it here first.
The biggest threat they have as a playmaker in the middle of the field. And just because we're throwing out names, I got the gunner flag too over here. Martinelli, I know you guys saw the social media clips of what he's doing to defenders at training.
Oh, yeah.
He has something to prove. And he's going to really – this is his time to shine going forward. He already has Real Madrid, already has Barcelona on his radar, even though he's going to stay a gunner. But this is going to be his tournament to shine for sure.
Hey, he better because we need him right now, to be honest. Hey, speaking about number 9s, I think that a guy who should be monitoring in this group is Eric Choupo-Moting from Cameroon. This team right here, it's a powerhouse in Ghana, in Africa. I'm about to say Ghana. It's a powerhouse in Africa, one of the most important teams to me in Africa right now. So their biggest thing should be clinical. He is in form at the moment. So if they do have any chances up front, he will be the one taking them. I think that if it's 1 goal, 2 goals within the entire tournament in the group stages, if they fall to him, then they'll have a chance to at least win 1 game in this entire group and actually be a contender to move forward in the group stages.
To keep on the topic number 9s, I think a name we definitely need to keep an eye on is Dusan Vlahovic from Serbia. He's obviously Juventus is number 1 right now. It's tough playing in the system with Allegri when they're really going through a rebuild, but he has something to prove. And, there was a reason why so many teams were willing to try and splash on him last summer. And you never know, a good tournament, a couple goals here and there, possible golden boot. Maybe there's a summer move coming to the Prem.
What team to the Prem?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean,
I don't know. There's a couple teams that could be in for it. I mean, obviously Newcastle's Newcastling right now. They made a couple moves, but I wouldn't deny him at Arsenal.
Ty, are you tampering? Are you tampering to get Dusan
I
Lajovic? I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I'm just saying. Listen,
I don't think. You never know.
You never know.
So we all agree that Brazil's going to win this group. So who's playing for second? Is it going to be? I don't think any of us think it's going to be Serbia. So do we think it's Cameroon? Do we think it's Switzerland? Do we think they're going to both battle it out? Obviously, we all agree Brazil's going to win it. Who's getting second in this group?
It's going to be Switzerland.
Yeah.
And Bolo up top always seems to hit another level when he plays in the World Cup or some sort of international competition. And then you got Captain Xhaka, who's playing like prime Xavi right now on Arsenal. So that's my pick to win coming second in the group.
Captain Xhaka has been playing really well, reborn at Arsenal. So, yes, they should have some manageable games to beat Cameroon. I think Cameroon still has a shot, though. But, I would choose Switzerland if it be anything regarding betting. So, we'll see what happens. But in addition to that, I do believe that Serbia is probably the least talented group out of this whole entire group stage. So, we'll see what happens.
And I apologize in advance. This turns into a pro Arsenal show. I have no control over that. As a Chelsea fan, it's going to be quiet and keep it moving.
Oh, man. That's funny. Yeah, my money is on Switzerland. I think that Xhaka has been playing really well as a captain, too. And when you need leaders, he's one of those leaders that can potentially utilize his veteran and his mindset to will this team forward. So I'm going Brazil and Switzerland in this one.
All right. Now, of course, he's been in all the headlines. I think we should go to Group H next, I think.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, boy.
Listen, I know it's not a Prem show. We're here to talk about the World Cup, but me personally, I don't have any problem with what he's doing. Obviously, there's system issues at Manchester United that need to be exposed, and he's not the first player to come forward. Maybe he shouldn't have did it in the way he did, but he's just speaking the truth. But to talk about Portugal as a team, Cristiano shows up every time they play in a major competition. Every time he comes with his A game and he comes to win. Now it's just about the players around him helping him. Bruno Fernandes has the talent. He's shown us in the Prem, but he seems to go missing every time Portugal plays in a major tournament. Obviously, Diogo Dalot joins him from Manchester United. He's had a stellar season. Ruben Diaz, great center back. Even though his partner, Pepe, is starting to get a little old, almost turning 40 after the World Cup, turn of the year. But Portugal, like I said, it's kind of similar to Group B for me. Anything can happen. And I just hope that Ronaldo, for his possible last tournament, that he gets the support he needs from his teammates going forward.
I agree, actually. I think Ronaldo has been a consistent performer in the World Cup for many years. It's the team that I'm worried about. And yes, the team has a bunch of attacking talent, has a bunch of great talent overall, but there have been so many inconsistencies in the past. And, I don't think that they should be having those kind of inconsistencies as big of a side and as big of a team as they are right now. So we'll see what happens. And I do believe that, even though it may not be an issue for the entire team, it may be, considering how Ronaldo is going through with Manchester United and, whether or not his mind is in the correct state, that could play a role. We saw, I'm not sure if you see in the video between him and Bruno Fernandes and how their exchange wasn't the best, jolly. I mean, you're in a World Cup. You should be happy. And it didn't seem happy between those two. So let's see what happens. But I think that this team will definitely make it out the group stage. Whether or not they make it to a deep post-tournament run is to be seen.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Ty was saying off the top. Every international competition I see, it's CR7 doing what he's got to do to lead the team, and there's never a Robin. He's got to be Batman and Robin all the time, and they don't come with a lot of expectations on this team. A lot of times it's like, hey, they got Ronaldo, we're going to do something spectacular. People are tuning into that, and they kind of taper their expectations on the team because whenever you think this is Portugal's year, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they always let you down. So it would be nice in his swan song to see the rest of the team kind of really step up and come along for the ride and see how things work out. And you're right, Ed, when I wonder when the games start, can they put all that Premier League stuff to the side and do it for love of country and love of soccer, love of football, and kind of make a serious run? That's going to be interesting to see with that team.
Yeah, just to go off of what you said, I'm checking the comments. Well, I definitely agree with you. Portugal squad is deep, but the question still remains, are they going to show up? And to go off of the Batman and Robin theme, João Felix, he has the opportunity to be that Robin, but he has been playing well at Atletico Madrid. Hopefully he can use this tournament to turn his form around and to get going and to do something for his country. Obviously, Jota misses out from Liverpool, which is huge, but One of my players to watch out for is definitely Rafa Leo. He's had a fantastic season with AC Milan. Even last season, winning the Scuderia, he had a fantastic season. He's one of the best young talents in the world. So now, again, we talk about young talents and getting on this big stage and using it to make a move or to up their name. This is going to be Rafael Leo's time to really prove to himself and to the rest of the world that I'm that guy and I'm going to be one of the best young players going forward in this tournament.
Love it. I love it. Wait, can we please get to the best team in the tournament right now? Like, I mean, can we please? Hey, Joe, is this thing on? Seriously, can you put up the flags again so I can see my team? All right. Where's the black star? Where's the black star? I don't understand. What's going on? All right. Maybe I was supposed to be the black star coming in to represent my team. But listen, I am fully pumped and excited. I am so happy. Right, because we have an influx of great talent on this team. Obviously, Thomas Partey will be manning that midfield, but to go along with Mohamed Kudus, if you guys have been watching Mohamed Kudus, this entire Champions League for Ajax has been a baller at a young age, okay? And on top of that, I think that we are one of the best African sides in the tournament. I think that with the Ayew brothers, Jordan Ayew, Dede Ayew, with their experience, we have the potential to really make some noise. And I'm calling it right now. I hope you guys are quoting me. Quote me on this. All right. I'm calling it right now. Ghana will make it out the group stage. Yes, you heard it here first. Okay. Because we have what it takes to be the best side coming out. I think that first game against Portugal is the best time to face Portugal. Why? Cristiano Ronaldo and his whole fiasco of Manchester United and whatnot, that may play a role. And on top of that, it's the first game. Get your nerves out. So anything could happen. All right, yo, put some respect on Ghana's name. That's all I'm saying here, guys.
I've been let down too many times by African teams in the World Cup. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point, to be honest.
So much great talent on paper, and it's always something dumb in the end. I can't stand by. I can't get behind that. I'm sorry, Edwin.
Edwin, did you just use the Ayew brothers as an example of who's
going to
carry Ghana?
Of course.
No way. All right, listen. Obviously, Ghana, you can't help but want the African teams to make it out. They have the talent. I think for Ghana, what the key was attracting some of these other younger players that are switching nationalities. Obviously, they got Tariq Lamptey, who's going to be a right back. He's going to be a key piece for their team going forward. You have an engine in Thomas Partey who could run a team and manage a team for a complete 90 minutes now that he's healthy. But going forward, again, that's where kind of the issues are. I feel like if you would have been able to change Callum Hudson-Odoi and, perhaps get Eddie Nketiah to come, those would have been two players that, again, young talents, could have made some noise.
Eddie Nketiah? Did you just name Eddie Nketiah?
I did. Keep
him. Listen, give my boy some respect because he's in Ghana, living it up with the locals. I get that.
He's in Ghana.
Keep him there.
He's on holiday in Ghana. I like
that. Keep him there, okay? Keep him there. We don't need Eddie Nketiah call me. No, we want Inaki Williams, all right? Okay? I'm just saying.
Amen.
Listen, I saw Will's comment about making a bet that Ghana gets out the group stage. I'm making that bet. All right? How much you want to put down on it? I'm putting down on it.
What's the bet?
I'm that confident.
Do you really wholeheartedly do you think that Ghana is better than Uruguay?
No, yeah, like,
in your soul, do you really feel that? Like, not because that's your nation and you got to show pride. Like, in your gut, do you really feel that right now?
No, we're not better than Uruguay, but it's only one game. Wait. It's only one game. And if you listen, if I'm the head coach, all right, Odoi, I'm playing the 2010 film Luis Suarez in the locker room. All right, that's all we need to see right there. That is all we need to see right there. Play for the players, and let's go out there and start biting them back. Getting gritty, slapping them in the face, whatever. Get some red cards in there. I don't care what happens. Whatever you got to do to get the job done, get some goals and score and win the game. To me, that's the World Cup final right there. That's the final right there. All right. I'm just saying.
That's a valid point. I like that idea. Uruguay versus Ghana in the group. That could be the World Cup final, an early World Cup final. It really could.
But is Uruguay too old, though, fellas? Is Uruguay too old? I mean, where's Suarez? 35 years old? How much we got left in the tank?
Hey, man, he was fantastic when he left Barca. He just won his team. I don't even know when the last time they won the championship was, but with Suarez, you know what you're going to get. And I think having Darwin as well is going to be big. He's starting to fire in the Prem. I'm not going to lie. I was definitely one of the people saying that he was a flop when he first started playing, but now he's picked it up a little bit. So I got to show respect. I think Araujo is going to hold it down in the back for them. Uruguay, I think they're going to get out the group. Do I think they're going to make some noise after that? I don't really know, but I don't really think Ghana's going to make it out. I'm sorry.
I mean, Ty, I agree with you to the point that they have probably the most consistent players and consistent, side at the whole entire group, right? We have some old players. Luis Suarez is still very old. Edison Cavani is also very old too, but they have experience as well. Darwin Núñez, I think that they'll have this two-striker up top system that they'll use to probably get their goals. But as far as expectations, this team has done really well at getting out the group, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do get out the group. But yeah, if I was from Uruguay, I would also put my money on them getting out the group. That's what I would say.
And before
Monty out here saying, Monty says Edwin's giving out motivational speeches right now.
Hey, I was motivated. He made me want to go play. But before we move on, we always got to give the nod to South Korea. I mean, they have one of the best players in the world, Heung-min Son. Obviously, he's had a tough season with Tottenham, but I would have a tough season if I was playing for Tottenham as well, just because it's Tottenham. But that's besides the point. Heung-min Son, this could be, not to say that South Korea is like going to make a lot of noise, but he gets firing. He's proven that he could put a team on his back. I mean, look what he's done with Tottenham the last couple of years. So don't count on South Korea. They got Heung-min Son, Sonny.
I agree. Yeah. I think that also Hwang Hee-chan is also will be a guy that to look forward to in the World Cup, seeing what he could do with Son and trying to at least give him some breaks and lessen that shoulder and that burden of carrying South Korea. But if those guys come into play, then they should be also dangerous in this group. I will agree with that.
Now, moving on to our last group before we take our first break, we have Group D, which obviously has the defending champs. Who wants to kick this conversation? I think this is a pretty simple group to break down, but who wants to kick off this combo?
Listen.
Well,
all
am I wrong?
To Tunisia and Australia, they don't got a chance. Respectfully, I can't. Honestly, I can't. But obviously, France is the main attraction. That's what people want to watch. And France comes with the question, will they go back to back? Will they be able to repeat their success from 2018? And as somebody that I love their players, they got a lot of talent. I don't know if it's going to happen, in all honesty. It's a completely different squad from 2018. Obviously, no Pogba, no Kante. You just lost one of your best players in Nkunku in training. You have a very young midfield. There's a lot of question marks surrounding this France team, and I don't know how Deschamps is really going to deal with it. But with that being said, you still have Kylian Mbappe. He's probably going to have to play on the wing, not down the middle, which he does not prefer. You have Karim Benzema that's going to lead the line. You have Ousmane Dembele, who's been playing better at Barcelona. Again, for me, this France squad, just a lot of questions, a lot of question marks. But they should win the group pretty easily.
I actually agree with that. I mean, I think that you hit on all the points, Ty. They have a young midfield surrounded by some veteran talent there too, but also Karim Benzema has been dealing with some injuries as well. So we have to monitor that and see if he's going to be fully fit to at least play some of these World Cup games, which I think he should because it's the World Cup. But the biggest thing is getting out the group and seeing if they can rely on that household names, Kylian Mbappe and Karim Benzema. Remember, like last season, UEFA Champions League, it was the magic from Benzema that brought Real Madrid to the finals, in my opinion. So if they can ride that for this World Cup, then they obviously have a shot to do so. I don't think they will, because I think it takes much more than that to make it in a deep run in the World Cup. But we'll see what happens, though. I think that they have a shot.
Valid points.
Man, this man has waited 8 years to be in a World Cup. I think he's going to shake off whatever injuries he has, and I fully expect him to show up and show out. I mean, obviously, we know they're going to win the group, and they should win the group handily, but I think he's setting himself up for a big tournament. Nagging injuries be damned. I just think when you wait this long for this big stage, he's going to definitely show up and perform at a high level for them.
Indeed. You know, I know Ty touched upon Tunisia and Australia. I just want to say that Tunisia, yes, they may not have a chance. I'm trying to give my African countries a bit of a I'm just saying, right? Listen, the biggest thing is to park the bus, counterattack, and if you could grind out a 1-0 victory,
oh my God,
grind out a 2-0 victory. I'm just saying, there's possibilities. It's the World Cup, or it's the World Cup. If you could do that, then there's a chance. But there's no chance for me, obviously, because I don't believe that they can do that. They don't have any clinical talent up front, but they are still one of the more attractive, big names in Africa for that matter. But Australia, though, I think the biggest thing is that they have Aaron Moore in the midfield. So maybe he could provide a spark for them, but also playing on a counterattack. And if you could find any type of win, it has to be against Denmark. That's the biggest thing. Get Denmark, or get a draw against Denmark and get a win against Tunisia, and you have a chance right there. But we'll see what happens. Those teams, right, they have to be competing for third and fourth. I think Denmark and France will be the clear-cut favorites, and Denmark actually has had France's number in the past couple of competitions. So they might be the group leaders coming out of this. You never know. They've had Eriksen. Obviously, you have Højbjerg in the middle, so that's a strong midfield right there. So we'll see if they can really get another game against France and take the time to be the group leader this time and have an easier matchup, setting themselves up for the knockout rounds.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm with Ty. I think if you're Tunisia and Australia, make sure you get a really, really good swag bag to take back home with you. Take lots of pictures, enjoy the sunshine. Hey, it's all about the experience, right? Because if you have any intentions of thinking you're going to do some damage or make some noise, I don't see that happening at all. I think that's a very, very long shot. But hey, we are halfway through this. 4 groups down, 4 to go. You are watching the 2022 World Cup preview show on Nuts and Bolts Sports. We'll be right back after they pay some bills.
1 minute. It seems like a long time, until it isn't. What would you do? Could you handle it? Being on the clock. Coming soon to NBS Media, a new show hosted by Bill Carroll, On the Clock.
We are here shooting Remova's latest campaign. I'm happy to be a part of such a great brand, and looking forward to seeing what's in store. I just love the luggage. I love the quality of it. I love the style of it. It just feels fitting, to my travel. Travel has helped me grow as a person. I've been able to go all over the world and to see so many different walks of life, so many different regions in this world, so many different places, and experience so many different cultures and things of that nature. So, that's definitely made me become a better person myself, because just being able to see the world and appreciating, different cities, different countries, and what they bring to the table. I think I've been so successful playing on the road in my career is just a sense of calmness for me. I love the adversity and being able to go on someone else's floor where they're most comfortable at, and being able to, try to defeat them there.
And welcome back to our World Cup 2022 preview show. Joe Cardoso, Edwin, and Ty here, talking about all things World Cup. 4 groups down, 4 groups to go, fellas. Where are we going next?
I think we got to start at the top of the group, start with Group A. Obviously, Netherlands is who really catches your eye. Ecuador has a couple young talents coming from Brighton, but to really hone in on the Netherlands, obviously, it's kind of going towards a transition, kind of not. You still have Van Dijk. You still have some of these older players, Danny Blind. But now you have Justin Timbers, Tariq Malacia, Xavi Simons. You have some big, young, up-and-coming stars. You have Memphis Depay leading the line, who has proven that he can do what he does in international duty. So for me, Netherlands is going to top the group. It's just a matter of how clean they do it. Can they go and sweep? Can they get 2 out of how many games we have to play? Are they going to drop a game? There's a lot of question marks. Again, it's the World Cup. Anything can happen. But the Netherlands, they have the defense. They have the youth. Is it now or never for them to make a run at this World Cup?
Ty, I agree with everything you just said right there. Netherlands, to me, is the most experienced, strongest backline, best team overall. Listen, Steven Bergwijn is going to be one of their main attacking points, but I'm looking towards Memphis Depay with his celebration right here. I'm going to be doing that the whole entire tournament, because I think that he's going to contend for the Golden Boot this time around. As you said before, they should have the cleanest slate of games, right? They should be able to sweep through this entire group. It's about how well they do that, how convincing they do that. And we have to take into account the performances now, because if they're going to be one of the contenders overall in the World Cup, then to beat Senegal, to beat Ecuador, to beat the host nation, Qatar, then you have to do that in convincing fashion for me. So we're going to see exactly how they win these games, but I fully expect them to win all these games.
I am shocked, Edwin. No motivational speech for the highest ranking African team in the World Cup that's going to be in this group. Come on, man. I was expecting more than that, bro.
Listen, there's no Sadio Mane. He is the heart and soul of that entire team. So I get it. The midfield is strong. The defense is also strong too, led by Koulibaly. You have a good goalkeeper in Mendy. So they have some talent there. It's not a shock to say that they're not going to win a couple of games here or maybe contend for a second spot. But Sadio Mane, though, not having Sadio Mane, the best player on that team, is a big loss for them. So to lean on Ismaila Sarr, to lean on your striker Boulaye Dia will be key moments in that group stage, but I'm not too certain they could do that. So with that being said, I can't really give him any motivational speech this time around.
Now, do we think that there's going to be any, we've seen it before, it happens most World Cups, any host country magic whatsoever possible from Qatar? Or are they also on the Tunisia, Australia, hey, we're just happy to be here, and we also live in this country, so our gift bags are lifetime gift bags? Like any kind of hope of host nation magic from them at all, from anybody?
Listen, that's my one point that I had for Qatar is the host nation magic. Anything could happen. Anything can happen in a World Cup. But when you really have that home field advantage and the fact that this Qatari team has been training for together the last couple months, all their players got taken off of their respective clubs to train for international duty for this World Cup. They put all their chips in. They put all their eggs in one basket. If this is the time for them to make some noise, this is the time for them to make some noise, because when are we going to see Qatar in another World Cup? Let's be honest.
That's facts right there.
Listen, I believe in
take.
the host magic. I do. But for Qatar, though, I'm not too sure. It's a bunch of unknown talent. The biggest thing here is they're an unknown squad. And for me, all their players are playing in the domestic league. So we haven't really seen them on bigger stages just yet. This might be the biggest stage they will play in their entire lives, depending on their careers and whatnot. So if they have that magic, then yes, utilize it. But I'm not too sure if they can contend, even with an injured Senegal team, even with an Ecuadorian team that should be a solid team moving forward. So we'll see what happens, but the magic is still there for them to at least make some type of run.
Yeah, so we all see the Netherlands winning this group then, obviously, for sure. And then we're going to still go. I'm still going to say Senegal finishes second in this group.
Not a bad pick. I'm going with Ecuador, though.
I agree. Ecuador is a little bit more, I don't know, got younger talent. Senegal, again, just without Mane, that really takes the air out of your wheels or air out of your tires going forward to this World Cup.
You got to galvanize, man. You lost your man, next man up, step up, use that as motivation to kind of perform better. Like you've been saying the whole show. Anytime you step on the field, you never know what's going to happen in the World Cup. Why not?
I mean, that is true. I do believe that his leadership and his presence there would be enough to get them motivated for each game. But Ecuador, they have too much attacking talent for me that I believe in more than Senegal's talent at that moment. They have a 4-3-3 system that when you have the attacking fullbacks going forward will pose much more problems than what Senegal could probably do. So they're finishing second for me.
It's a pretty simple group there. Group A, where are we going next?
I think it's time to jump to the team that hasn't lost a game in 36 matches.
Oh, boy.
Argentina. It's now or never for Messi. He said this is going to be his last World Cup. You know, he's the greatest player of all time. That kind of hurts me to say, but I think I have to come to terms with it now. They have the talent around him. They have Dybala. They have Rodrigo de Paul in the midfield. It's a young base squad. Kind of the stars are aligning right now for Argentina, if you will say that. And then obviously the big thing for me is I think fighting for that second spot in that group is going to be interesting between Mexico and Poland for sure.
You know what's funny? It's like I don't understand why there's so many people rooting for Argentina when they're not Argentinian or they're not from Argentina. Like I have people from Haiti rooting because they simply love Messi. I have people from freaking France rooting for Messi and their team is in the World Cup. That makes no sense. But with that being said, Messi will be the heart of everything on this team, right? He will be, since it's his last World Cup, he has to go out with a bang. I don't really expect anything less because I'm still a big believer in big time players make big time plays, or in this case, big time goals scored, big time assists. So Messi for me leads a team that is most experienced in this group, has a great team, most deep team in this group. So I don't really expect anything less than them to top the group at all.
I think the game against Mexico is one of I know we all have our must-see matches list. That's like number 3 for me as far as the World Cup goes, because Mexico is one of those teams too that you never know. Like you never know which Mexican side is going to show up. They can show up and shock you. They can show up and make you want to throw your remote control against the television. So I think that's going to be a big game. And with me and Messi, I think he kind of got the monkey off his back with his performance he had in the Cup of America a couple years back. But I still wonder on a big stage, World Cup, like you just said, a big time assist, a big time goal, one of those memorable ones that you're going to remember when you think about that person's legacy. He's going to need a couple of those moments to help this Argentinian side to do what everybody expects them to do, which is to win this whole thing. I think they're one of the favorites as well. But at this time, without even watching a game, I have Brazil higher ranked as a favorite to win the whole thing than I do Argentina.
That's a fair point. But again, I think it comes down to just form, and, not losing in 36 games is something that's hard to do. It's not like, we're going through scrimmages, we're playing against lesser teams. Like, they played some big names, and you got to win regardless of who's on that field. And I think Messi is just, again, it's now or never, but like, there's a reason why he's been the best player in the world for so many years in a row now. And like I said, Argentina, 36 games in a row. This is the time for you to step up and show us that you're really that world powerhouse. But something I wanted to go back and touch upon, we're talking about Mexico. You don't know what you're going to get, but the player is going to show up for Mexico is Prime Ochoa. Every single tournament, he doesn't let them down. He turns into the greatest goalkeeper, not in the world at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how good he plays in the World Cup. And moving down the line, honestly, Saudi Arabia, like Joe said, enjoy your swag, take some pictures. You don't got a chance. Poland, Robert Lewandowski, as Thomas Mueller likes to call him. Again, another one. It could be his last World Cup. You see the stats on the screen for this season with Barcelona. Just found out he's going to be missing the 3 games when he gets back, but that's besides the point. Can he keep this goal-scoring tally going through the World Cup? And I think the answer is yes.
All right. So I'll start with Mexico here. I do believe in their big-name players, Checo Lozano and Raul Jimenez. They should pose some big problems, so I'm looking forward to that Argentina and Mexico game. That's going to be a big game, probably one of the biggest in the group stages for that matter. But as you touched upon before, I wrote here on my notes for Saudi Arabia, need a miracle, because I am not convinced. I'm just being honest here. Like, I'm not convinced in their attacking talent. All right. And they have had some momentum coming into the World Cup. So they have won the past 5 out of 7 games. So there is something there to build upon. But most unknown group in the group stage, for me, one of the most unknown groups in the group stage. And on top of that, when you're facing Argentina, Mexico, even Poland, for instance, I don't really believe in their talent. Now, for Poland, very interesting. Obviously, you mentioned Lewandowski and his goal-scoring attributes and what he possesses. I do believe that they have a chance to pack the midfield, overwhelm your teams that way. And, when you have Lewandowski up top, there is a big chance you score that goal. If he has one touch the entire game, it's a big chance they have a goal in that game. So we'll see what happens there. If he has any type of great game against Mexico, I don't really anticipate him beating Argentina. But if he has a good game against Mexico, maybe, just maybe, they have a shot at qualifying for the round of 16.
So where are we going next?
I want to jump personally. I think a big name we need to talk about, even though they have injury problems, well, just the group in general, is Group E. Obviously, Spain, Germany, Japan. That's a deeper group, Costa Rica, than a lot of people are going to think. Obviously for Spain, leaving out Thiago Alcantara, that was a big, point of emphasis. No Sergio Ramos, 2 more experienced players, and you're bringing a lot of youth with Pedri and Gavi in the midfield and Ansu Fati going forward. But the thing I like about the Spain team, besides the youth, is Luis Enrique's confidence in these players. This man wanted to go on Twitch, went on Twitch to talk to the fans, to let them know why he made the decisions he made. That's something we haven't seen any other manager do. Like, imagine if Gareth Southgate went on Twitch and talked about why he selected Harry Maguire. Everybody in the world would want to watch that. And Luis Enrique gave the fans that opportunity to do so. So that's why I think he kind of laid it all on the line. This is why I picked who I picked. And this is the confidence I have in this squad. And then a name that I want to talk about for Germany is Jamal Musiala. I'm sorry, I always butcher his name. But he's been firing since his move to Bayern Munich. Now, reminder, he was an English player. Imagine him in that English midfield, that core of talent. And now he's over here doing his thing at Bayern Munich, one of the best players in the world, best young players in the world, should have won the Golden Boy Award. But it's rigged, but that's my opinion. But those two teams,
Hey,
Spain, Germany, that's going to be the game to watch. That's
Yeah.
going to be who's going to compete to win the top of the group. And then don't be surprised if Japan sneaks that second spot, though. Don't be surprised.
So Ty, I know you touched upon Spain, and they have a great abundance of young attacking talent. But I want to pose a question to you and Joe. Where's the leadership on this team? I mean, there was a big decision to leave Sergio Ramos back home, right? And I don't really see any other leader. Maybe Cesar Azpilicueta for that Chelsea squad. Maybe he could be the leader on that team. But do you think that would be an issue for them moving forward in this group?
1,000%. Like you just said, Cesar Azpilicueta is going to have to lead the squad. You have no other leadership. There's no De Gea. There's no Ramos. These are going to be big question marks, not from a talent or like a playing style point of view, but from a leadership, like you said. And we're just going to have to see how it works out. Luis Enrique took a risk. He's either going to reap the rewards or he's going to get a lot of backlash for it.
And I mean, it goes without saying, but I'd also say that Luis Enrique is going to be a lead. It's going to be a leader. I mean, you picked the squad, you showed the abundance of confidence you had in them, and we know at some point during the tournament you're going to encounter difficulties or bumps in the road. He's going to have to rally the troops and get these guys to stay focused and not let whatever happens bad, like the ability to bounce back. Basically, he's going to have to help them out through those moments. For whether it's talking to them at the halftime or talking to them during the games, there's going to be moments where you're going to be like, "Hey, we either can step up from this and learn from it and advance, or we can let this crumble our hopes," because there's a lot of expectations on this Spanish side as well. I mean, like Ty said, definitely some big names that were left off of the roster, but the expectations, at least from what I've been seeing online and talking to different people that really follow soccer, the expectations really haven't dipped off at all.
I agree. And speaking about expectations, I mean, Germany, we all know they're going to play a couple of great games in this side on this entire group stage. So I'm looking forward to see Thomas Muller in his probably last World Cup, right? He's going to be a main focal point for them as one of the main goal scorers for the entire World Cup, not just for Germany, but the entire World Cup. A side, though, I want to touch upon that is interesting to me is Japan. Now, when I was researching this, I saw that they're actually really good at maintaining possession of the football, but there's no cutting edge. Only 12 goals in 10 games. So that to me scares me a bit. If they get down by 1 goal, do I have any confidence at all to see them coming back into that match and maybe securing a win, possibly securing a draw? I don't know. But what I do know is that Minamino will be one of the more dangerous attacking threats for Japan moving forward. So if they can find a way to get the first goal in one of these games, because it is still a tough group, so it doesn't really matter who they play. They're going to have some tough competition regardless. But if they can get at least 1 goal to start off with, to score first, then they will have a chance, because I do believe in their ability to maintain possession of the football.
Yeah, that's one thing I think about when they play Team USA. That's one thing about the Japanese squad. If they do get in the lead, they're going to hold on to that lead and fight you tooth and nail to keep it. They're going to keep possession, pass the ball. They don't make a lot of mistakes. It's definitely a well-organized squad for sure. But like you said, in terms of attacking and be able to put points on the board, that's not their forte at all.
Fair enough. I think, though, that question could stem down the entire group. We talk about talent, and I think this is a midfield-heavy group. Who's going to be the cutting edge for a lot of these teams? For Spain, is it really going to be Alvaro Morata? For Germany, there's no Werner. Is it really going to be Kai Havertz? I don't think so. So that's a question that I think is going to stem down the chart in Group E for sure. Who's going to bring the cutting edge to their team?
Is there any confidence in Costa Rica at all?
Costa Rica, they've never been too bad, though, when they play in international competitions. It's just, again, bad group placement.
Yeah.
Bad group placement.
I don't have any confidence at all, to be honest.
We're one and the same in that one.
Yeah, to be honest, right? Because the last couple of results, and it's still the World Cup, so you can find form quickly, but the last couple of results have been unconvincing for me. So if you can find that form, then maybe you have a shot. But even if you do have a shot, I still do believe that Spain, Germany, Japan even have greater chances of making it out of the group than they do. So they are in that category for me with lackluster / need a miracle to make it out the group stage for the World Cup. So we'll see what happens.
And where are we going next? I think I have an idea where we're going.
I'll let you take a guess, Joe. Where do you think we're going?
I think we're going to go with Group F.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Obviously, Group F, Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, Canada. This, to me, might be this might be the deepest group in the entire tournament. Canada has shown that they are not to be messed with. This isn't a Canada squad from 5 or 6 years ago. This is a Canada squad with Alphonso Davies, led by Jonathan David, 2 up-and-coming talents in the world. Belgium, I hate to say it, the Golden Boys, those years are behind them. This is their last chance, any last chance to win a World Cup. Like, literally, Eden Hazard fell off the face of the earth, unfortunately. When
Thank you.
Yeah.
De Bruyne, he's still one of the best, but the age is starting to catch up to him. Their defense for Tongan, he is aged a lot since he's left, obviously. But Morocco, Hakim Ziyech had a great goal the other day. Achraf Hakimi going forward as a right back could bring some opportunity to that team. And Croatia, you can't sleep on a team that has one of the best midfielders in this game still, Luka Modric.
Agreed. Group of death for me. I think that on any given day, which in the World Cup, it's any given day, any one of these sides can make it out. Starting off with Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne. That's just all you need to say. That's all you need to say about that guy, right? Leandro Trossard for Brighton has been playing phenomenal this season. So he should provide another attacking threat upside with Lukaku, who has been injured so far. So we'll see if he's fit enough. But the attacking talent is there for Belgium. Now, as Ty mentioned before, it's old attacking talent. So whether or not they could young with the young boys, we'll see what happens. But Croatia, another old, experienced side that could definitely make some noise. Luka Modric has been the heart and soul of that team. We saw last time they're running in the World Cup 2018 where they just were making so many great plays after play and just carrying on. And no one expected that team to be where they were in the finals, but they were in it. And so for some people, I know we all went with France, but I think that there were some people, that small portion, that believed Croatia could win the whole thing. So they still have that at their disposal as well, too. Canada, you mentioned Alphonso Davies. Jonathan David has been great for this team, 9 goals. Clyde Laurent also 13 goals as well, too. So they do have attacking talent. I don't want people to think that this team is only led by Davies. He's not a one-man show. They are a feisty group, can play with anybody, and they have a chance to really be gritty in each one of these games. And last but not least, let me give some love to my Moroccan side, the African side. I'm going to give you guys 3 names here. Hakim Ziyech, Azidan Nahi, and Sofiane Boufal. These guys are what I call dribblers, as in they can create problems, create chaos against any one of these teams. Because when you're taking on players, you can create mismatches, you can create problems for the defense in the back line, and that could lead to so many chances created. So this, aside from Ghana, just let people know that I'm still here. This team, aside from Ghana, can pose the most problems for any other team in the African sides that are moving forward. So we'll see what happens. But I really can't call this group leader right now. For experience reasons, I'll probably go with Belgium. And I'll say that it's a toss-up between Canada and Croatia. But experience does matter, though. So I'll go Croatia here with this one. So I'll go Belgium and Croatia for the guys to make it out the group stage.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on what Ty talked about, there was just so much hype years and years ago about this golden generation of Belgian soccer, and just hasn't come to fruition. And the question I have is, does it come to fruition now? Now that we're on the other side of 30 years old for most of these guys, and injuries and the wear and tear, I have to wonder that question. And this is one of these groups for me. I'm not sure what other group you guys feel this way about, but I feel like this is one of those groups where every group game I want to watch because it's so competitive and these teams are so kind of on the same level that this is not one of those games. This is not one of these groups where you're going to be like, oh, let me check the score. If there's an opportunity to watch the game from start to finish, you're going to want to take this opportunity. But I still got Croatia winning the group.
Ooh, Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's bold.
That is quite.
Go big or go home, man.
Okay.
Go home. If Croatia still had Mario Mandzukic, I wouldn't be mad at it. But
yeah,
because he just scores goals. Again, he's one of those players that he's good at the club level, but once that international stage kind of hits, you can't stop him. But again, I think age is the biggest factor for this Croatian team. I think it's unfortunate. A lot of their players, Ivan Perisic, been around for a long time. We talked about Modric. These are 2 guys that are going to be the focal points. And I just think overall, even though Belgium, again, is up there in age, I think they do have the youth as well as the talent to really push them above Croatia to win the group for sure.
If I was a betting man, really quickly, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would put money on Canada to win the group. Just saying. Just saying.
Not mad at that.
I'm not. I wouldn't be mad at it either. Just saying.
Not
You know.
Well, I would hope not. You're the one putting the money down.
Well, yeah. I'm dropping you guys dimes here. Like, if you want to make some money, take it. Just saying. Like, come on now.
I wrote it down. I got it.
I love it. I love it.
If I lose, you owe me some money.
Well, it's not my money I'm giving you. I mean, you know.
Well, now that we've discussed all the groups, I know we wanted to talk about some predictions, talk about some award winners. I kind of let you guys take the reins on that and talk about Golden Boot and manager and all those good stuff. Let's talk about that a little bit as well.
You know, for the Golden Boot, for me personally, you guys are gonna look at me a little crazy. I think it's gonna be Ronaldo. I really do. I think Ronaldo was one of the people that thrives off of criticism. Obviously, he has been working at United, but I mean, he doesn't get the playing time. The style of play doesn't suit him. It's not tailored towards him, so he's gonna struggle. But now he's playing in a Portugal side that is literally built around him, and he is the guy. Like, there's no other hesitation to say that. I think that with everything that's happened in the last couple of months, he's got something inside him, a dog inside him now that's like, yeah, you guys think I'm washed, this, that, and the third. Here's your opportunity to see that I'm still him.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I had Cristiano Ronaldo as well. I just think it's his, I mean, number one, it's his last swan song. He has nothing to lose. And what do elite athletes love to do more than anything besides win championships is prove people wrong. So everybody who says that he's washed and the game has passed you, and just I saw some comment. I think it was it Wayne Rooney? A lot of people have a hard time accepting the fact that they're getting old, and he seems to be one of those people who's having a hard time. I think he's just reading all that stuff at night and just fuel to the fire, man.
You know, I'm not mad at your choices, and Ronaldo is not washed, by the way. He definitely has the capabilities to score a lot of goals in this game, but it's gonna be Harry Kane for me. Harry Kane, somehow, some way, even despite. Listen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, speak. We got a chance to speak.
Harry Kane, despite my lack of trust for Gareth Southgate, has been able to steadily overcome the iniquities of whatever he's doing for tactic reasons and for schemes and whatnot. Harry Kane, to me, there's going to be a couple of penalties he scores this World Cup. There's going to be some big name goals he scores against these other teams in this World Cup, especially against USA. So we'll look forward for that game. But Harry Kane, to me, yes, for England, he will be their main man, at least trying to carry them into a deep run for the tournament.
I'm not mad at it. In all honesty, I'm really not. Harry Kane is one of those players. Again, he always shows up in the international competitions.
That's true.
It just comes down to playing style, and I think regardless, he's going to get his goals because that's his job. He's a goal scorer. That's the reason why he's been Tottenham's number one option for so many years now. But definitely would like to move on to the Golden Glove, because this is one that there is a lot of people that could take home. This is a good generation for goalkeepers. Courtois has definitely stepped up over the last year. Alisson's having a fantastic season between the sticks for Liverpool. Jordan Pickford is one of those players that turns into a different character when he plays on his team, like for England. There is Everton Jordan Pickford, and then there's English Jordan Pickford. And we're going to see English Jordan Pickford, who's going to be 10 times better than Everton Jordan Pickford will ever be. But the person I say brings it home, I talked to him before, it's got to be Ochoa, man. He turns into the greatest keeper of all time, not of the tournament, of all time, when he has that Mexico jersey on, when he's playing at the World Cup. This is his tournament and will continue to be his tournament.
That's a underrated choice right there. I'm going to go with Mayer Neuer. I think that Germany has the most, or one of the most disciplined sides in the World Cup. And when he is anytime called into task to save this team, he does his job. Mayer Neuer, for me, has been a steady piece for Bayern Munich, right? And for all the work he has done for this German national side and whatnot, I think that when it comes down to a couple things, playing out from the back, making the great saves, and being commanding in your box, those three things make up a great goalkeeper for me. And those three things he will bring, as well as experience. He's going into his fourth World Cup this time around. So all that will be much more important, which is why I think he'll probably win the Golden Glove this time around.
Yeah, for me, I kind of looked at, like Ty talked about, performances when you play on the international stage. And because of that, I just had to go with Jordan Pickford. I mean, you talk about 45 matches with England, out of those 45 matches, 21 clean sheets. That's what you're looking for when you get into these high pressure situations, because you know it's going to happen. A bad VAR call or some kind of bogus card or something. An opportunity is going to be given. He's going to have to make a big save or big saves for England. And the question is going to be, can you make that when the opportunity arises? And he's proven more than once that when the opportunity arises, he's more than capable.
Okay. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout. You know what's funny? I'm not really a big believer in Jordan Pickford. I know he turns into this awesome beast in the World Cup, but for me, it should be Aaron Ramsdale starting. Just saying.
That's a different show for a different day. Reactions, man, are golden. Just so much about speaking.
Just saying.
I had to find my flag. You know, like Joe said, this ain't an Arsenal show, so I'm gonna keep my comments to myself on that one. I'm not gonna lie. But manager of the tournament for me, because I talked about them being a powerhouse, being one of the favorites. I think it has, if Brazil's really up there and they're gonna go on to win, it has to be Tite. He has the talent, he has the personnel. Like, it's just a perfect situation at his hands. Like, there's really no area you can go wrong unless you just decide to bench your entire team. So if they go on to win the World Cup, which I think they have a really good chance of doing, I think he will take home the manager of the tournament.
You know, it's a tough decision for me, because I usually pick my manager of the tournament based off of who wins, and you really can't predict the World Cup. But I think that with who has the best probability to win the World Cup, it probably is Brazil. So I'll also go with Tite. Anything less than semifinals appearance is a failure for me, if I'm being honest with you guys. So this team should be expected to be that far. And to be honest, anything less than a win for Brazil should be a failure for them. So yeah, he has a lot of pressure on him, but it's pressure that I think he can rise up to. So I'll go with Tite on this one.
Yeah, I think that's just unanimous. It's going to be Tite. I mean, this is a guy that he has. I think the biggest thing he has in his advantage is his team is not just relying on one player like it has in years past. So he's gone out and they've gotten talent and they have it from top to bottom. He can change things up and mix and match his lineups. I think that's going to make him even a better manager than he already is. I think that's going to lead his team to at least a World Cup Finals appearance. If not, I'd hate to be living in Brazil when it doesn't happen. But I think that because of that, he's got to be the forefront leader when it comes to manager of the tournament.
Agreed. Ty, where are we going to next?
I think we got to talk about best young player of the tournament. This reward, there's so many players that have the opportunity to win. It's actually insane. You know, we talked about Bukayo Saka. We talked about Gabriel Martinelli. We talked about Gavi. We talked about Pedri. We talked about Jude Bellingham. These are all, like, this is the crop. This is going to be the next generation of football we're looking at. Not just young talent. Like, these are going to be the players that we see for the next 5 to 10 years coming. But for me, I already talked about him. I have a load of confidence in him, is Jamal Musiala. 14 matches for Bayern, 9 goals, 6 assists, born in 2003. Let that sink in. He was born in 2003. Kid has something to prove, and this is going to be his stage to do it. And I think with Germany, he's going to take home this young player of the tournament award.
That's actually a really good pick. You know what's funny? I'm going to show some love to my Americans. I'm going to go with Brendan Harrison. Now, I threw a little curveball. You see how I flew a little bit? But anyways, this guy has broken into the lead side. He has been an instrumental part to how they play this season. And I have to give credit to them and how hard he works off the ball too. Remember, this team has been great at pressing so far in the Premier League. So what I think is he will bring that intensity, that factor into the game for USA and their squad. And this team has so much pressure and so much young talent that when they have these factors going against them, I think that Aaronson will be the one to rise up to the challenge and to be the guy to lead them. It wouldn't be Christian Pulisic for me, because he just has a little bit more pressure that I think he won't rise up to as being Captain America, quote unquote, and whatnot. But since there are an abundance of talent, young talent on this team, and I think the best one that will show up this time around will be Brendan Harrison, he's going to be the instrumental part, the key part to having them win some of these games.
That's a good choice. I was gonna go Team USA, and I was gonna go with Gio Reyna, but then I thought about, the injuries, they're always nagging. It's always something with him. I don't feel super confident in that. So I got to go with the 18-year-old whiz kid that's going to be the next generation of soccer when it comes to Spain. I mean, just think about all the great players that have played for that Spanish national team. I think he's just in the next line of the greats. And what better place to showcase your talent than the World Cup? That's why I had to pick. That's why I had to pick for my best young player. But like Ty said, there's so many. I mean, we could ask that question again in 10 minutes and everybody would have a different answer, which is exciting for the future of football.
Love it. I love it.
And I think that really brings to, for me at least personally, what this World Cup is about. And that's just the passing of the torch. You know, growing up, playing soccer, watching it, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, these have been the three guys that you constantly hear about, the best in the world. You constantly hear about them winning Ballon d'Ors, watching them play, how good they are at their craft and how great they've been just for our generation. And now, unfortunately, you know, we wish these players can play forever, but that door is slowly but surely starting to close. And now we get the opportunity on the biggest stage in all of sports to watch these new young stars take the game by the throat and say, you know what, guys, we appreciate what you've done for us and all you've accomplished, but it's our turn and we're going to, you know, carry on your legacy and we're going to do it even better to an extent.
Will never be the same at all. I mean, you watch these World Cup games and you watch these future international games, and to not see Messi, to not see Ronaldo, to not see Lewandowski in some of these matches would be kind of a shocker to you. But as Ty just mentioned before, it does bring a new element to the whole entire field of football. So watching these young players take the reins and seeing which one can break out, which one can be the guy that carries the pressure from what these players, Messi, Ronaldo, have carried for so long, which one can endure that and potentially lead their teams, the national sides, to glory in the future. So I'm excited, and I do think that it's going to be heartfelt, but I'm not really too dumb about it. I'm really not. I like the attacking sides that possess these young talents, and we'll see what happens for them as they continue to grow in their careers.
Yeah, I think for me, that's probably more exciting than the whole farewell tour for a lot of these guys is the influx of young talent and learning about these guys and seeing how they adapt in different situations. And you kind of get to know, you find your new favorite player during these World Cups. And with there's having so many new young players that are finally getting the chance on the biggest stage there is, I'm pretty sure all of us will have 2, 3, 4, maybe even more than that, players that we're going to see in multiple games, that we're going to watch them and follow them forward, not just on their national team, but whatever club team they play for as well. That's what I'm most excited about, besides it obviously being the overall World Cup, is the young players and seeing how they perform.
Best player for the tournament?
I don't even know. There's so many.
Yeah, that's tough.
There's so many. It could. I think, obviously, we only can predict so much. Once we see who really gets out of the group stages, I think the options are really going to narrow down because you're going to know who's playing well, what not. I really can't give you an answer. My heart wants to say Ronaldo, so I think I'm going to go with Ronaldo.
My heart wants to say Jordan Ayew, but I don't know. I'm really like, it's either going to be him or Thomas Partey. I mean, there's so many great players on Ghana. I don't really understand what's going to happen. But listen,
I love your faith.
It's leaning towards Messi right now. Just saying. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Ayew takes the reins and carries us to the glory land this year. I'm just putting that out there.
Hey,
man, you're putting a lot of pressure on this team, bro. Yeah,
I am. They better deliver too. I've seen too many heartbreaks after heartbreaks, not just in World Cups, but freaking African Cup of Nations. I don't care this time. Show me who you are and make me a proud Ghanaian. That's all I'm saying.
We'll have to get this. We'll have to get this show to them somehow, some way. I'll tag them on the repost or something.
Yeah, get that speech.
Some inspiration
on the board.
No speech, just push play. This is Edwin.
Yeah.
Any predictions for finals? Final thoughts?
Predictions for the finals. You know, it's not really a prediction. It's what I want. I want to see Portugal versus Argentina. I want to see Ronaldo versus Messi, and this would be the pinnacle of it. And you couldn't choose a better way to go out between the two, and that would just be perfect. It'd be like a storybook ending.
I agree. Same result. I want to see Messi lose to Ronaldo.
I don't know that. That would take, man. That'd be so unlike that Portuguese side to finally step up and help him out. That in itself would be a story for them to finally come together and galvanize and make a run to the finals. but that would be a storybook ending for sure. I don't know. I got a feeling we might be seeing a all South American final. You might see it in Argentina and in Brazil.
Possible.
I don't know.
Possible.
Anything's possible. But that Portuguese making a final would be awesome because, like I said, just look at the history of how many coulda, shoulda, wouldas they've had to finally make it. And then on top of that being CR7's last cup and then to go up against a guy like a Messi, man, that's must-see TV. I know Fox Sports would love to see that.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I bet. I would love to see that. Imagine Ronaldo going to the final and just rubbing it in Manchester United faces after all the turmoil that they're going through right now. I would love to see that. This is what you guys let go of? Could not be me.
Nah, for sure. I'm definitely excited. You guys ready for the 5 a.m., not even 5 a.m., the 4:45 a.m. wake-up calls?
Yeah,
no, I'm not, to be honest with you. unless we're watching Argentina, Mexico at 4:45 in the morning. I don't know if I'm gonna be up for those, but overall, I'm excited for the World Cup to be back. What the world has gone through in the last couple of years and all the ups and downs and the confusion, just to have everybody, back watching one sport that everybody loves, can't be any better than this.
That's well said. Couldn't say it better myself, man. Well, hey, I want to thank both of you guys for bringing your football knowledge to the show and breaking down the World Cup. A lot of great comments. I want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched. Especially like the comment from Monty. Learned a lot from the start of the show to the end of the show. So we appreciate you guys watching. And this is not it for us. We'll have content throughout the whole tournament, going all the way up to the finals. So as always, Joe Cardoso here with Ty and Edwin. I want to thank you guys for checking this out and watching the 2022 World Cup preview show. And we will catch you guys.
Ain't no way this has happened.
Wait,
what just happened?
Perfect timing.
Oh man, wait, is it still? It's still going.
It's still recording.
Lord.
I mean, well,
right.
This is the extended phase.